Wendell Jones, and welcome to this edition of our program, our weekend edition of the platform. And on our program, we examine the national issues sometimes on our program. And today on our program, as you know, on our weekend edition, we have Bianca Nygaard as a co-host as we talk about health issues, among other things. And today on our program, we continue our series talking about obesity. And we are taking the program out of the studio a little bit on this show today because we have a chef here, and we're also going to be speaking with a medical doctor. Our guests on the program today are Dr. Crispin Gomez. He's been practicing for 8 years, and he's going to tell us some things about obesity. And we're also going to be speaking with Chef Leo Hall. Bianca, it's always nice to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here again.
And you're always wearing these very nice, colorful dresses.
Oh, great. Thanks. This is Bianca Nygaard dress at our Slim store.
Is it really?
It is.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Okay. It came directly from Nygaard Slims?
Yes. Have it available now on sale. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. The colors are very, very nice.
Thank you.
Yes. Chef Leo Hall, good to see you.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
I understand you had a lot of fun with Bianca in looking at various meals, eh?
Certainly. I always have fun in the kitchen.
Okay. All right. And Dr. Crispin Gomez, you went to UWI, you say?
Correct.
Normally when a young Bahamian is a physician and you are from UWI, you tell me that you are well trained.
That's correct. I went to UWI, and then afterwards I finished a specialty in family medicine.
Okay. Obesity is a big problem in our country, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and even worldwide. The statistics show that about from 1980s up until now, the actual rate of obesity has actually doubled. It's about 33% in the world. And this is also increasing in the Caribbean, even at large in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm. And obesity is said now to be a disease.
Yes, it's now classified as a disease because it gives rise to many risk factors such as cardiovascular risk factors, which increase your risk of heart attack, strokes, your risk of diabetes, certain cancers such as endometrial, pancreatic, colon cancer. So because it's on the rise, we actually have to control it before it becomes a problem.
You know, many years ago when people had a protruded stomachs or they were overweight, people would say they were pleasingly plump, and they said, well, you know, you seem to be in good health, but you're not in good health when you are too fat, right?
Correct. And what obesity is it's basically an abnormal accumulation or excessive amount of fat in the body. And the way people get it is usually you actually eat more than you actually work off.
Mm. You know, I spoke with a colleague of mine the other day, and someone was talking about eating until you are full. And he said, no, you shouldn't be eating until you're full. Is he right or wrong?
He's right. You shouldn't be eating until you're full, and you shouldn't wait until you're hungry or you start to feel your stomach growling in order to eat. You actually should have predetermined times to eat for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have some snacks in between.
Snacks in between?
Correct. Healthy snacks.
Okay.
Such as nuts. You can actually snack on fruits, vegetables such as carrot sticks and so forth.
Mm-hmm. So you have a set time for breakfast, set time for lunch, set time for dinner? Correct. Okay. And in between you have?
Some healthy snacks if you're feeling peckish in between.
I see. Okay. But water is extremely important as well. I see you came here with your jug, your own jug of water.
Yes,
we have water in the building, you know.
Water is very important. The body is composed of a lot of water, so because of that you actually have to keep yourself well hydrated. And the amount of water differs because it depends on the type of work and the type of expenditure that you do. Mm-hmm. Like for somebody who is an athlete and does exercise, they would have to consume more water than somebody who doesn't do as much work as that.
But exercise is extremely important as well, because
Very much so.
there are a whole lot of people who don't believe that they have to exercise. Isn't it true that everyone should have some form of exercise?
Definitely. Everyone should actually have some form of exercise. They actually recommend for children, they should have at least 60 minutes of exercise a day through the weeks. And for adults, at least 150 minutes of exercise per week.
Okay. Bianca, you've been exercising, right?
Yes, I've been exercising, been trying to exercise, and I've been battling with my own weight problem for a long time, going up and down and up and down. And I really have to make this lifestyle change for myself. And I noticed that no matter how much I exercise, if I'm not eating correctly, it's not going to matter, right? It's discouraging, actually, you know, and then the exercise makes me hungry too. So it's very important for me to have smart choices and to actually take them with me, or my willpower, my brain isn't strong enough to not stop on a fast food restaurant on the way home if I'm so hungry after this workout, and then I defeat the purpose. You know, I find that very difficult. So I've been trying to do better now.
Now perhaps we should talk about what, and perhaps the doctor and the chef, Chef Leo can talk about this, and Dr. Gomez, about what eating properly is all about. I don't know who want to begin. Yes?
Well, in my studies and understanding eating properly, it isn't just getting a belly full. Like people say, well, a belly full is a belly full, and that's necessarily not the case. It's what are you putting in that belly? You know, you have calories, but is it good calories or bad calories in that sense, as simply put? So as you may see in the demonstration, if you eat a baked potato, I mean, are you going to eat the skin on the baked potato? Are you going to load it up with some chopped fresh herbs and put some broccoli in there? All of that, they're calories, but it would cost you to eat less of the baked potato, but the quality calories that you're going to put in your body is going to be better. So now what your body will be doing is consuming, is assimilating good calories and absorbing more nutrients that will satisfy the crave. Because many times when we're hungry, and Doc could probably attest to this, that your body is actually craving for nutrients and not so much food. But what we do, the food is so poor, the quality of the food is so poor that we find ourselves eating that fast food and trying to get full from it. And we're not really consuming the quality of calories that we do need to be satisfied with.
So we have to categorize the kind of calories that you're eating, eh?
Yes, and I agree with Chef Leo. If you actually wait until you're hungry to eat, your desire is to find something that's quick, something that's fast. So you're unlikely to go home and actually prepare a healthy meal. You're more likely when you pass Wendy's or some other place to actually smell that aroma and say, hey, let me get something quick bite. That's the reason for you eating regular. So it actually, you don't have that feel for hunger, so you have your meals planned and you eat more healthier. And I also agree with Chef Leo in terms of what you eat. It depends on the quality and it depends on the quantity. In terms of the quality, you want the more fruits, more vegetables. In terms of starch, you want more of the complex starch like your whole grains. You also want, in terms of quantity, you don't want a big plate of food. Just because you have a big plate of food doesn't mean that is what you are supposed to eat. So your food is supposed to be portioned out. A majority of your plate, about 50% of it, is supposed to be vegetables and non-starchy vegetables. So we have starchy vegetables such as potato, yam, which we don't count. We want you to have your broccoli, your lettuce, your tomatoes, your cauliflower, your carrots, and so forth. And in terms of the other half of your plate, you're supposed to divide that in half, and a quarter is supposed to be your protein or your meat, which is supposed to be about a 3 to 4 ounce size, about white meat preferably, but you can have any choice of meat. And then the other quarter is supposed to be your starch, which is your rice, whole grain, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread, and so forth.
Starch and carbohydrates is the same thing, right?
Correct, yes, they are the same.
And so there are a whole lot of Bahamians who consume a whole lot of carbohydrates, a lot of starch, peas and rice, macaroni, potato salad, bread, a whole lot of stuff. Now tell us what a balanced meal is again. What is that?
I think
because on a Sunday,
yeah, we
tell
kill,
them
we, yeah,
what,
we kill
what
it
it's
on,
supposed to be.
we kill it on Sunday.
It's interesting because I've been trying these diets, and sometimes the food gets so boring when we think about the leafy greens, and it's a complete change from what I was brought up with, you know? So sometimes it feels like I'm eating cardboard, and I don't want to keep it up. So what is interesting for me now is to trick myself, you know, so I can have like what we did on at my house is you can have a potato, but then fill it up with a whole bunch of broccoli and other greens you can even add into it. So now you're and you don't use butter, you use coconut oil instead. Now it feels like you're having this potato, but really you're tricking yourself. You're having all these other vegetables in it, you know, or there's other little tricks that I'm doing now of taking a lemon and putting it in the freezer and shaving it onto everything because the peel of the lemon is so good for me, and it also it makes my water taste better. Or I put cucumbers in the water. That makes my water taste better. Now I bought something from Kelly's on sale too right now. While you're at the Slim store, you just go down to Kelly's. But it has changed my life, and it's like the little cooler that you put the ice in and make your cucumber drink and have it right there by your bed or in your kitchen. And all I'm doing now is drinking water. So it's like finding these tricks is a real lifesaver for me. And then I understand now that drinking all day is helping me to not feel so hungry all the time. It fills you up too, you know. So even if I do feel hungry because I didn't pack a snack, I can have that water, and soon I'm not. That feeling has passed. I don't have to run and get a chips or something.
Talk about the drinks that she just mentioned. Cucumber in your drinks or lemon. What these things do for you?
They actually add added flavor to the water, depending on what it is. And also some of them, such as the lemon, cucumber has some antioxidants. And antioxidants are actually help fight against cancers and different bad cells that you actually have in your body. Different
bad cells?
Correct.
Okay. So we were talking about a balanced meal earlier on now. I think the doctor said half of the plate should be vegetables, something leafy.
Right. And would we, I guess in our society, we do it the other way around. Like when if you tell somebody they're only going to get a 4 to 6 ounce piece of meat, you know, that could be problems. And like you said, especially on a Sunday. So again, whatever it is you make, whether it's the macaroni and cheese, or my thing is to take what we are familiar with, and we know that it's cheesy and starchy and oily, but to change it around a bit and put more nutrients inside it, especially where you can cut more. So someone may not eat a big stick of broccoli or cauliflower or lettuce per se just like that, but if we can chop it up and mix it into something else and just be creative with it, and you can achieve a very similar taste and the quality of calories that you're going to give them. So you may consume 200 calories at that meal, but the 200 calories, instead of it being just wasted and turning into fat and sitting in your sides and your stomach and places where you don't want to see it, your body actually absorbs the nutrients from it, and because it's high in fiber, then the waste gets eliminated and you're good to go.
Dr. Gomez, the problem of obesity, is it in epidemic proportions in this country?
Yes, it is. We have, we have actually done some studies. They actually had a study done by Carroll et al. In about 2008 amongst 10th graders at a high school, and it actually showed that the amount of obesity in that age range was about 24%. They actually did a later study in 2012 by Rivers et al., and he actually did 9 to 12th graders, about 800 students, and found that the rate of obesity in that subset of students were actually at about 34%. And then recently I did a study around perimenopausal women between the age group of 40 to 60. over 500 women, and actually the rate of obesity in that group was over 60%. So there is a problem. Even though they are small studies, it doesn't take in to compass the whole of Nassau or the whole of the Bahamas. But we actually can take from that there is a problem and something that we actually need to do something about.
Dr. Crispin Gomez, it's always good to see you. And I believe, Bianca, you're going to show us some things in the kitchen in the other segments of this program, right?
Yes, well, it was a very special treat to have Chef Leo Hall come over to our house. And we went to our garden, our bio garden, and picked out some things and went into my grandma's kitchen. And he showed us how to make some easy recipes on a budget that feed a lot of people too.
So you're gardening.
Yes.
You're growing your own vegetables,
right.
Eh?
We've been trying this for a couple of years now to grow without pesticides, and it's really taken off. Some things don't work, and a lot of things really do work. Like lemongrass is growing crazy. Papayas, they're dropping out and growing everywhere. So much that I had to take them and I threw them in the bush around the island to see if they're papaya. If you see papaya trees, I bring them to people. I'm sorry, I'll bring you some. I brought some tomatoes earlier and passed it out before you came down. But if you see papaya trees start popping up on this island, that was my children and I. We threw them in the bush because they're popping up all over our yard. Everywhere they land, we have to dig them up. But yeah, we have chickens and we get our own eggs and we have a lot of peppermint and rosemary and all this stuff growing. And so it's nice. It's like our magical garden that,
Very good. I have to come and see it. Mm-hmm. Chef, you were impressed when you saw it?
Yeah, I was. In fact, I like gardening myself and get my hands involved, and also encourage friends and relatives and so on to get involved with gardening, and regardless of the space you have. Because when you begin to grow your own food, you are also helping your family, you getting back into nature and getting back into talking about nourishing your body and for the quality calories that you need to consume. But definitely it's something that all of us can start in one way or the other. Okay,
we're going to take a break here, and when we return you're going to see some of the wonderful things that Bianca talked about. You're going to see her garden and you're going to see Chef Leo in the kitchen. We take this break, we'll come right back.